Today, the entirety of the League of Nations archives, which corresponds to about 3 linear kilometers or 14 million pages, are available through the UN Archives Geneva Platform. Thanks to the LANTED digitization project conducted between 2017 and 2022, a variety of archives, official documents, maps, and photographs are freely available to consult online. But how are the archives of the League of Nations organized? And are all the documents related to the League from the UN Archives Geneva available online? To answer these questions, this tutorial will cover 3 points. First, we'll give you an overview of the organization of the League of Nations archives. Second, we will explain how the documents can be consulted, either online via the UN Archives Geneva Platform or physically in our reading room if not digitized. And finally, we will provide some information about archival material that is not formally part of the archives of the League, but which can be useful to your research. We hope that this will facilitate searching our archives by providing a better understanding of the structure of the collections and make it easier for you to navigate through our resources. The blue browse box provides a complete overview of our archives. By clicking on League of Nations Archives, you will access a web page that contains links to the 2 main categories of archival material of the League, the fonds and the collections. The general rule in the archives is that materials are kept according to their origin. The fonds consist of the entire body of archives created by the League of Nations itself. They are subdivided in a hierarchical structure which includes subfonds, series, subseries, and files. Collections consist of records that have been created outside of the League and brought together based on their subject matter. The League of Nations archives consists of 3 fonds: the League Secretariat Fonds, the Refugees Mixed Archival Group, also called the Nansen Fonds, and the external fonds and several collections, which includes maps, photographs, official documents, and original conventions. All of these documents are digitized and can be consulted online. As we will see during the last section of this tutorial, other archival material related to the history of the League can be consulted in our archives, but generally is not available digitally. Before going through these documents, let's have a more detailed look into these fonds and collections which constitute the archives of the League of Nations. The fonds of the League Secretariat consist of all the documents produced or received by the various sections of the Secretariat from 1919 to 1946, when the League was dissolved. The material is grouped by section, which were the administrative units of the Secretariat. This fonds includes the personnel files of the League staff. These files are digitized, but only available on request. The Refugees Mixed Archival Group, or Nansen Fonds, is linked to the activities of Fridtjof Nansen as League of Nations High Commissioner for Prisoners of War from 1920 and as High Commissioner of Refugees from 1921. The subsequent Nansen Office for Refugees, as well as the High Commissioner for Refugees coming from Germany. The external fonds combines all the groups of files created outside the League Secretariat by more or less autonomous bodies established by the League of Nations, such as the administrative commissions or units directly responsible to the Secretariat, such as the branch offices, to fulfill administration or other obligations imposed by the Treaty of Versailles. This fonds includes materials related to the Sahara Basin Governing Commission, the Greek Refugee Settlement Commission, as well as various offices of the League in London, Berlin, Washington, and Princeton. There are 6 collections in the League of Nations archives. Like the fonds, they are all digitized and available online. The UN Archives Geneva Platform provides access to a series of collections. Bulky enclosures. This subfonds is made up of annexes or even parts of certain registry files whose size or shape meant that they had to be stored separately. Official documents. This collection contains the official minutes, reports, and documents of various League organs. The League of Nations Map Collection. This includes more than 15,000 maps originally collected by the League of Nations Library, which are available online. The League of Nations Photograph Collection includes more than 9,000 photos of personalities, assemblies, councils, delegations, commissions, conferences, the Secretariat, the Permanent Court of International Justice, the International Labor Organization, and miscellaneous photos of the League and its activities. conventions, ratifications, and other diplomatic instruments of the League of Nations. This collection mainly consists of diplomatic instruments, in most cases concluded under the auspices of the League and deposited with the Secretary General. The League of Nations Registry Index Cards. These are the original index cards created by the Registry Service, which manually recorded each document received or produced by the League on handwritten index cards. They are classified by name and subject. If you're doing research on the League of Nations, you might be interested to know that some material can also be found in fonds and collections which are technically not part of the League of Nations archives. This material has not been systematically digitized, although some portions have been, and may need to be consulted in our reading room. This is the case for the private papers, which include papers of personalities who worked with the League, including staff, but also commissioners and journalists, and also with the United Nations. They consist either of documents that were prepared or used by League of Nations high officials in the performance of or in connection with their functions, and which passed later through the hands of persons outside the Secretariat, or of genuinely private archives of League officials or those who operated in the orbit of the League, including journalists and members of civil society organizations. The collection is partly digitized. Some other collections include the Posters Collection and the Woodrow Wilson Collection. This is a collection of brochures, articles, and other printed material related to the issues of war, peace, and international relations that were gathered by the Wilson Foundation. The material contained in the collection spans from roughly 1920 to 1950. We hope that you now have a better understanding of the structure of the League of Nations archives. You can find additional material in our research guides, or you can contact us at Ask an Archivist.